Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Chasing Psychological Safety video series. Thanks for joining us this week. This week it is just me, as you can see, as opposed to myself and Dwayna, who's usually here week in, week out talking to you. But unfortunately, Dwayna has succumbed, as many of us have, to the COVID virus and is convalescing at the minute. And we send all of our love to her and for a speedy recovery. And that's why you've got me this week. So this week we're going to talk about the numbers of people that we speak to with blockers and what those blockers are and how we can help you get past those blockers to working on the all-important human work, the all-important people work, reducing your human debt, and at the core of that, of course, the work that we're passionate about, which is psychological safety and bringing that to your teams and to your organization. So there are lots of people that we speak to, and some of those teams are woke and ready to go and absolutely see the connection between high performance, fantastic outcomes, and working on psychological safety. And they're ready to get in, elbows deep, and do the work. We speak to some other people who have some doubts, some fears, some perceived challenges and barriers to making that work happen. Maybe you're one of those people, and those are the people that we really want to help today, hopefully, with this video. So some of the areas that we are going to talk about today were touched on in yesterday's article, but we wanted to just expand on those a bit today. The first one, one of the big yes buts that we hear can be, yes, but we're doing a piece on culture change at an organizational level at the moment, and we need to do that now, and we'll look at psychological safety later. Whereas the truth is, organizational change and organizational culture it's a really nebulous concept. The organization isn't necessarily real in our eyes. And in order to make real culture, you need to focus at the team level. And if you're focusing at the team level, the first and foremost place you need to start is psychological safety. And from there, by building culture team by team by team throughout the organization, you can start to make a wholesale cultural shift. There might be slight differences between those teams. They need to build their own cultures, but there can be an organization-wide culture and set of values and behaviors that comes out of that everybody can live by. So if you're talking about an organizational change piece, the cornerstone of that needs to be psychological safety in a team context. The next one is, well, we're already working on engagement. So this one always worries us and baffles us the most, I think, because whenever we look at pieces of work, say, wholesale leadership programs or pieces of work around developing leaders through coaching, whatever that might be, engagement is usually a byproduct of that. It's something that comes up as one of the modules or as an outcome or a theme of one of the pieces of work that you do in those teams. Engagement measures that organizations put in place are often to ask questions around particular scores or around asking questions about how connected they feel to the team's values or to the organization and organizational purpose. They don't actually get to the core of how to engage people through building trust and through building engagement, through fantastic relationships, through short feedback loops, through all of those things that we can do if we focus on psychological safety. So the first place to start is psychological safety, and then the engagement piece of work, your outcomes will improve as a result of doing that. One of the other ones, and the lead slightly on from what I was just talking about, is our people don't like measurements. And I think a lot of us have a healthy ingrained fear of measurements. And there's a really good reason for that. The reason for that is because historically, organizationally, when we've been measured, it's been something to put performance management in place or to stop us from moving forward or from having something like a bonus or a salary raise or a promotion, or there's been some sort of measurement that means we've got to work harder but get less in reward in return. And I think people have developed a really healthy level of cynicism around measurement. Whereas if you take data and you use data in a really positive way. We talk to people upfront and openly and honestly about how this data is here to support them. And I've seen this happen with a lot of diagnostic tools as well as in our software. If you really have that conversation and lay those foundations for how the data is there to support you as a team, to support you as human beings, to help you to develop, to help you to get better in a way that suits you and works for you and is really insightful, then that can be really liberating and kind of open up the world of difference and performance for individuals and for teams. So I think it's about being really honest and open about the data and the measurements and the fact that they're not there to be punitive in any way whatsoever, and making sure that people feel really, really positive about the fact that we're using data and we're using measurements, and it's an exciting place to be. And then the last one, but absolutely no less important, and I've kind of deliberately left this to last because of the pandemic and the way things are at the moment, is people saying, yes, but in the remote world of working, in this world of hybrid working that we're heading for, we've got to set our teams up and get the ways of working in place and get them used to the technology and get them used to being in different places. Then we can look at psychological safety. Whereas the truth is, you're not going to get to set them up properly without psychological safety. That has to come first. Without that trust in the remote environment, it's always been critical. It's never been more critical than now, and for the next forever after the pandemic. We need to rebuild teams, relaunch teams. We talk about team relaunches a lot, and trust is at the heart of that, and psychological safety is at the heart of trust. So in order to get those remote teams to gel, in order to get those hybrid teams to really perform, be happy, be contented, and be fantastic at their work, psychological safety's got to be at the heart of that. There are lots of fantastic ways you can now improve psychological safety, which is the really good news. That includes the software that we've designed and created and is out there and being used. And it also includes all sorts of other ways you can do it. So whatever we always say, please come to us, or at least do something. Make the baby steps. There's plenty in our articles and videos to help you. There's plenty of great content and material out there on psychological safety. Take those first steps, get past the blockers, and move forward with psychological safety. Thanks so much for listening. Looking forward to seeing you all again next week. Bye.